Hey everybody, we are live and in living color. What's up, everybody?
Welcome,
It's
welcome, welcome.
your Coco mom and Coco dad. It's been a minute.
It's
It's
Coco
been a while.
Life Black.
Coco Life Black. Welcome everybody. Welcome to our Coco Connect. We do not own the rights to this song, but we are listening to God's Plan by Drake. Okay, just processing this week. We're still high off of the last weekend. The Black Maternal Health Summit was amazing. What a great experience. And so, as a result of that, in some of these relationships and connections we've been building, we wanted to jump on with y'all live today. So, go tell all your people, come on in so that we can get this conversation going. So, how you doing today, Musa?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I just for all the Coco moms out there, I think this would be a good time to share the link with the Coco dads in your life, your brothers, your uncles, your husbands, your family. Just share it. Guys that you work with, your work husband, share it with him too. He can get some information as well. Share it with everyone.
I like that. I like that. Yes. Share it with everybody. This is a dope conversation we're going to have today. So I'm Alexia, your Coco Mom Evolved. It's been a little bit of time. The last time we were before you all, we were having an amazing conversation with our Coco Mom Laquista. We were talking about the self-care. This year, we've had a chance to check in with Coco Mom Renee Rem, and we are continuing the fabulosity, the dopeness with a Coco dad today. That's why Musa is tuning in today. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Musa.
Hey, this is Musa Naboya. I am your realtor, your analyst, your real estate investor, all around Coco Dad, 24/7. There you go.
Right. Coco, always Coco dad all the time. So today we are talking paternal health and hope. Now, for those of you who may not know, this week is World Doula Week. And so we often hear about doulas, right? The women who are out there supporting maternal health, bringing life into this world, supporting the moms that are bringing life into this world. Guess what? If you did not know, you should know, and you really will be educated beyond this time. Doulos are also out there making a major impact. And so today we have a really amazing gentleman here with us today. He is the president and CEO of Daddy University. I'm about to say Coco Dad. That's the next iteration. Okay, Daddy University Inc. Out of Philadelphia. I got a chance to get introduced to a lot of the amazing things that he was doing through our beloved sisters over there at the Petaway Pursuit Foundation. And I've just been a fan ever since. They shared a lot of similarities, he and Musa. And what these two gentlemen have really been able to do for me, and I'm sure many of the others who have been able to be graced in this man's company, is help us be intentional about Black maternal health and how we cannot talk Black maternal health without talking Black paternal health. We can't talk maternal health without talking paternal health. So, everybody, please welcome to our virtual stage Coco Dad, Joel Austin.
Hey, my brother.
What's going on? Yo, that introduction was all that. Yeah,
You like that?
let's talk.
Oh boy.
Man,
Listen,
how are you? How are you?
doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm
Yeah.
doing pretty good. We just got a house, so we're playing open up the boxes and find your underwear. It's exciting. It's very exciting. You don't know. You got one dish over here, one, and a plate. Sorry.
I love it. I love it.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We know that game. We played that game about almost 3 years ago.
Yes.
Find the soap. Yep. So
Find a soap. You got a wash rag. I don't know.
Yeah. It's so bad.
No judgment here, but thank you so much for tuning in. We know that there's a lot going on this week, and you're coming off of supporting the Black Maternal Health Summit and being a major contributor there. There's just been a lot going on. So I want you, though, to just take a moment to introduce yourself to the virtual audience. Hey, everybody, whether you're watching live or the playback, it's your Coco crew, your Coco mom here with some dope Coco dads.
Mhm.
And we are talking Paternal Health and Hope, here with Joel Austin, and he is just getting ready to kind of introduce himself and talk us through like what it means to be a doulo and how you got into the game.
My name is Joel Austin. I'm president, CEO of Daddy University Incorporated. We are the longest running male parenting education company in the United States of America. Daddy University is all about helping fathers educating fathers become better fathers. Like wherever any information they need, any advocacy. We have a Doulo program. We also have a Fathers Club program that we meet. We have a Parent Academy. We do the Fathers and Young Men's Conference. We also do the Daddy and Daughter Dance in Philadelphia. And now we're starting our brand new fraternity, which is Delta Alpha Delta Fraternity, the Dad Fraternity, so we can sit around and talk about some things.
Wow. Time out. Time out. So first off, let me just bring us back up here for a minute. The longest running organization in the US with your objectives focused on, say it one more time, because I want to make sure I got this right in our notes.
Male parenting education. And as you can see, we're also Coco skinned. So
that's right. Don't miss the melanin, okay? So the longest running, everybody who did not get that, Joel Austin, Daddy University, the longest running organization in the U.S. focused on male parenting education. I think that's very important to lift up, especially because we talk so much about legacy as well and how we're creating our legacy. So thank you for that. Now you said a fraternity?
Yeah. I'm about to bring Brother Musa on. Still in the beginning stages, but it's not hard. The hard part has been done that first 9 months. Once you get through then, once you get through the pregnancy, you pretty much in. On top of that, the Doulos for Dads program came in when we visited and started working with Petaway, and also realized that mothers were being cared for, but the mothers weren't always being listened to. And the mothers didn't always have the best language either. And the mothers didn't always understand the dads, and the dads didn't always understand the mothers. So we came up with the concept. Karen Peterson helped me with that, and we started training Black male doulas, Doulos, in the Delaware County and Philadelphia, and it has been phenomenal. I thought I was the first, and I didn't know if there's going to be any more, and now we're up to 8, and we just started in 2020.
Wow. So Musa, I know you probably have some questions, but one of my first questions is around like why a doulo? Like there's so many other ways that you could have kind of advocated for men, fathers, Black men especially. What was the catalyst for this move?
I would love to say, God brought it to us. I would love to say the universe had time for it and it was time. But to be honest with you, it was just pretty angry and upset that we were absolutely still in the 2020, this century, and we're still giving mothers all the responsibility and all the ills of bringing a baby about, when we know mothers are not bringing babies on board by themselves. We are still looking at a father as just a workhorse and not as somebody that's knowledgeable enough to know what her birth weight is, or not someone knowledgeable enough to know I guess we can't pronounce cesarean. Like, why are we not working with the entire family to help a mother? It came out of anger and ignorance. Like, I just find it a slap in the face for you to believe a male can understand and know all the players on his NFL team and not understand how to change a diaper and what color that the poop should be this week. It just came out of about time for change. Because if you believe a woman can work 8 hours and deserve equal pay, guess what? I can actually change a diaper, and I know the color green versus the color black when it comes to stool. It's not that hard of a deal.
Wow.
And I love how intentional that you are with, the educational part and bringing things holistically together as the family, because there's a lot of pressure that is put on our mothers and our wives when it comes to rearing kids. And I know that in the past, when the father was primarily outside of the house, and
Right.
women may not have had opportunities that they have now in terms of earning wages. I mean, you can have situations where based on the setup of the family, maybe the husband may take more of a role in the household where the wife may be out of the house more based on financial situations. And it is very important that, men are prepared. Like, not everyone has a father or uncle and someone in their life that they could lean on and depend on to teach them some of these things. And not every man has somebody in their life that may have been hands on. And how can you support your wife or your partner without understanding this information? I've One of the things that I know really kind of irked me, for lack of a better word, colloquialism. One of the things that kind of irked me is that there were times where my wife, somebody deny, just to deny the call. But there are times when I was spending time with the kids and I talked to just a family member, and they said, "Oh, you're babysitting? Babysitting? So you're trying to say that I'm babysitting my own kids, so I can't take care of my own kids?" But men definitely should be prepared, and many of us are are prepared. We definitely need to change that stigma that men don't, are knowledgeable about their kids. And I think the resources you're providing will help change that.
We
Yeah.
also have to understand, like, we delve deeply into maternal health, but we are still
Yeah.
ignorant to paternal health. 1 in 3 men suffer postpartum depression after birth. The
Mhm.
unfortunate part is that postpartum depression for Black men is called deadbeat. They don't
Yeah.
come to our aid, they don't assist us, and they don't kind of examine that situation. It looks like that I don't want to be around my child. If you're a Black male and you don't want to be around your child and you suffer the same symptoms of a kind of a distant, it means you're a bad man. It means you're a bad husband. It means you're a bad father. On the maternal side, if these things happen, we kind of rush to your aid. So we need to have more knowledge of paternal health and what these things look like. Paternal health, when a male is nesting, it looks totally different than when a woman is nesting. We may do something, we may want to move, we may buy a house and move because we no longer like the neighborhood. We may be out
Hmm.
fixing a step because the step has a little crack in it, and you're thinking the crib's not done, but you out there fixing the step because in my mind is safety, and I'm thinking that you may trip on
Yeah.
the step, and you may trip on the step with my baby, so I gotta get my people over here to fix the step. It looks
Hmm.
differently, but it doesn't look. And that sometimes a lot of males work more; they'll take on more jobs because they want more security for their family. But at that same time, it looks like you don't want to be around me and my baby, so we have
Hmm.
to get into paternal health, understand maternal health, so we can really talk about children's welfare. I mean, we
Yeah.
can't really get into children's welfare and infant welfare. You can't tell me you care about it if you're not studying paternal health.
Yeah. That's very very true. And I know that there were times when our youngest, when Lexi was pregnant with our youngest, when I was asking a lot of questions like, should you be eating that? Well,
Mm-hmm.
you just walked up the stairs earlier today, and how much exercise? You drinking enough water? As a family and as a team, yeah, as a team, there's also a level of accountability. Accountability partner. Like, we're both working together to bring this child into the world and make sure that we protect the child and nurture the child the best we can. And without knowledge and really putting in the work and being intentional, it makes it very hard, because at the same time, you have the mother that is caring for the child, and she's also educating you at the same time she's
Mm-hmm.
doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a question from I want to catch from Coco mom Anika. She says, so how do you differentiate between a father who is experiencing postpartum versus one that may not have any interest in parenting? Or there's some tips and things that you maybe.
That's an easy answer. So first of all, there's no man on earth that has ever wanted to be a terrible father. No one never wanted to be, and no one ever wished to be. So the kind of the same way we differentiate between, it's kind of like saying, how do we differentiate differentiate between a mother with postpartum and just a crazy person or someone that just didn't want to do such and such. We first had to bring postpartum to them and acknowledge that it is a valid thing, that is a strong possibility. Secondly, you have to start talking about fear. There are males who don't want to parent because they have no idea how to. And the best thing to do is, if you have a mother that's exhibiting this, you bring her to the circle of Coco moms. If you have a dad that's delivering this, you bring the dad to university or around other men that help you feel comfortable with parenting. All of us are afraid to be good parents. I'm a great parent, and I wake up every day thinking I did something wrong. But some people have more fear because they don't have supports. Once you find supports, you find somebody that's comfortable with being a good father or a good mother.
So is it more so, like, just thinking about the context of the question, a disinterest in parenting that is not related to fear, but like as a mom, so right, like if it's not fear, it's not, you know, we've ruled out postpartum, we've ruled out fear, how do you navigate that? And have you ever run into a situation like that with a man who is just like, or a dad who is just like, I really don't, I didn't want this baby. Like, okay, so here's an example. I heard a father say, I didn't want this child, so don't expect anything from me. And so, and that was before the child got here. Then the child gets here, and it's like they're starting to kind of make good on those promises, so to speak. Without having that foresight, is there a way to detect, once you've gone through like maybe the postpartum checklist and things like that with them?
So the number one way to detect is you have to go through the checklist first. Okay. We have to start addressing males and Black males through a mental health checklist. You cannot just throw us out there like other people look at us. It's for us to support our own community. If you go again through the second checklist, the last checklist is support. If you, a lot of times what we do is people that are disinterested in our children, we just do a cutoff. But as far as our village is concerned, that has never, ever, ever helped us at all. So we have to start offering support. If I was a mother and I was experiencing that with my partner or my husband, I would walk them to the Daddy University class. I would walk them to a circle of Coco dads. And then when you're in that circle, it's different. It's kind of like saying, what if you find out that the mother of your child is an alcoholic? Do you just, throw her in the trash? I don't understand. Or do we take them to get support? And because every hospital, there's a NIC unit for a reason.
That's, I mean, I definitely appreciate
on that.
And I have an example from my own experience where, you know, so my own behavior could have been, you know, looked at differently. So initially when my son was born, I'd only held him maybe one time in the first, I want to say maybe the first month or so that he was born. And the reason being, other than my wife was like a mama bear, but the reason being is I felt uncomfortable because he was so small and so fragile. And I felt so uncomfortable, but to the naked eye, it would feel like I wasn't interested in holding my child, when really I was like, you know what? He's so fragile and soft. I want to touch his head. You know, I was just so concerned of not being, you know, of like literally hurting him. I don't know if that's postpartum. I don't know what that is.
No, fear.
But I had a fear that I could cause him harm by just not knowing.
What you have to understand is culturally how people are brought up, or how gender-wise we are brought up. So mothers are quicker to nurture because of the time they spent nurturing as a young girl. We push our young girls to nurture. My sister and my daughter had dolls. They combed their hair. They had things that they changed, and they changed clothes. And I'm not saying that compares to taking care of a baby, but it started that nurturing process early. Your young boys are not pushed to nurture. But what you can do to push a young boy to nurture is you buy them a pet, you buy them a goldfish, or you get them a dog. And those kind of things start that nurturing and that fatherhood process early on. So by the time they're changing clothes and brushing hair and making sure people eat, they're ready for fatherhood. Because I was just like Brother Musa. I didn't give any of my children a bath within that first year. I just kept thinking that water was so high, even though it was 2 inches, but it was a surprise to me. And that just comes out of fear. It doesn't mean I didn't want to be there. It's just that you didn't have any classes for 9 months. We're both expecting a baby. For 9 months, we have an expecting mother for 9 months, and we have an expecting father. But in this country, we push education to my expecting mother, and we leave somebody ignorant for 9 months until we have these expectations of why aren't you doing this and why aren't you doing that? You had 9 months to teach me what a VBAC was. You had 9 months to teach me about an epidural. You had 9 months. And so as a village, we can't let that continuously happen.
It's powerful.
That is amazingly powerful, and it makes me excuse me.
Oh man.
Junior intern in the house. Junior intern in the house.
All right, doula in the house. I'm ready to come over. What you need? What you need?
Right. Look at this. So it made me think about one of the examples that you gave. But before I get to that, I want to kind of set you up for this. So we were in the hospital. I remember this, and Musa, I'm gonna let you tell the story. But the question that I wanted, or the piece that I wanted you to touch on, Joel, and it's going to be referenced from what Musa is going to share of our story when we were in the hospital, is how Black men especially are oftentimes looked at as aggressive in a role where they're trying to protect and serve, so to speak, to use that language. So Musa, can you share the example of the story when I was in there and that piece? And then Joel, please speak and share that example that you have about that aggressive.
Okay. So my wife is, we're in the hospital, she's laid up in the bed. At this point, they gave her some meds, so she's got kind of like in a la la land. I think she's probably talking on her phone or texting or something. And I hear the two nurses, they're talking. I guess one of the nurses is like a new resident, and the more tenured nurse says to her, she said, okay, so if her blood pressure drops and she starts to code, then we're going to do this and do that. And she's like giving her instructions, but in a way that did not sound humane to me. My wife is not a test subject for your training. And I think that if she would have heard how they were talking, she would have been concerned. But, myself being in a room, being her ears and her eyes when she's not looking and not hearing, I addressed them. I said, excuse me. I said, I'm not sure how you go about training in this hospital, but my wife is having a baby. And what you're saying is very unsettling. So I'm not sure, maybe, she should watch you do the things you need to do to support my wife. But right now, what you're doing is not working for me. It's making me very uncomfortable. And you need to change it up. You need to do something different. And then they just apologize and let me know that they're both tenured, just that one is just coming into the unit. And when later on that evening, our aunt and also her cousin came into the room as well. And the first thing they did was they talked to the nurses and the doctors, found out their credentials, all these different things they did to kind of to create some sort of rapport or accountability between themselves and the nurses and the doctors and everyone in the room. But I didn't think to do that. But when I saw a possible threat in my mind, it was like a threat, then I knew to react. I know what to do. Women have instincts as well, but as a man, my instinct was when there's a threat, I address it, in a very, professional, like a better word, manner. But these women in my life that were there, they already knew how to address the situation. So I wanted to share that because I think that, if I had engaged you and had the knowledge of your organization prior to that, those 2 years ago, I would have been definitely more prepared.
But I gotta lift up too, like that part about you recognizing that threat and then making that response. Because again, Joel, what I want you to hit on too, especially for our edification, is that component of the Black man in that moment trying to protect and what that sometimes gets perceived as.
First of all, Brother Musa is educated in his language. He has a great language. We have to look at the millions that are not on his level and what terms and words we use. When you are in the hospital with your wife, and let me back up by saying there has never been any other race besides the Black male that has protected Black women more. And there has never been any other race like the Black woman who has protected Black men more. We are and have always been the best protectors of ourselves overall in throughout the centuries. So but we're always, because of our culture and because of upbringing and because of past, we're always ready. We're always ready to protect. So when you don't educate me, when I don't know anything, when you leave me to wonder, all I know is right now at this moment, you're hurting her because she said that hurts. And that's all I know. And when I raise up at 6'2" and tell you to stop, with 6'2" with locks and tell you need to stop whatever you're doing, then you start talking to me about an epidural. Then you start talking to me and saying X, Y, and Z. But I'm a Black male, so my language, if my language is not always great, I come off as what's called aggressive. I come off as possible violent, and I come off as very, very angry and enraged. I'm not enraged. I want to know why my loved one says you're hurting her, because I'm the only defender. I've been raised from childhood to be a defender of hers. But now you want to call security, because if all of our languages, imagine a brother from Chester, his language is not like Moose's. His language is more like get out the room. Like we don't know. So if you walk in, and for some of my doulas that's out there, you have to start including these males. You have to start including these partners in this information, in this dialogue. You need to walk into the house and greet both of them. If somebody's playing PlayStation, that's because you let them. Like you have to go in with the knowledge that every father that you come across, every man wants to be the best that he can. And there is no other way that you need to perceive that. And I have to perceive in my heart that every single mother wants to be the best mother in the world. I'm a postpartum doula, so that's how I walk in the door. Is that the truth? No. But that's how the perception has to be, that he wants to be there. He wants to be involved, and he is on point, and so is she. So we got to inform both of them and give them the information, because in a hospital, next thing you know, they're calling security on us more so they're calling security on anybody else.
Yes.
That is so true. And so funny enough, I was talking to our proud Coco mom, Elle, who is also a women's health nurse, labor and delivery nurse. And when you gave that example during the summit, it caused her to reflect on an exact experience of that, that she had where she was in the room and a dad did become very challenged by what was happening and was not using such language like what Musa was saying and things like that. And quite honestly, no matter what level of education you have, we revert back. And I may not be able to pull out all of those 6-syllable words to articulate myself in the most professional and diplomatic way, and it may come across as what the hell, like, and that may be what you get. But she said she remembers a particular encounter like that, and in true sometimes fashion, all the non-Black people pivoted to her like, is this and she's like, he just doesn't know. Like
he just doesn't know.
He doesn't know.
Explain to him.
Yeah, like explain. And so I know we never ever have enough time, but one of the things I do want you to share, you talked historically about like men and not being involved at all in the conversation as it relates to maternal health. One of the things you said was around how the father, especially when we talk Black maternal health and these race related disparities, can help reduce those from our side too. What does it mean for you to be, and Musa to be, and other, especially Black fathers, to be included in that language as it relates to our lives?
So we don't have enough time. I am on the Delaware County Breastfeeding Coalition. I am part of the Maternal Health Coalition in Delaware County and in Philadelphia. We don't have enough time because when we go over the statistics specifically for Black women, the top 10 statistics start with fear, start with lack of food, lack of ability to get to doctor's appointments, lack of this. So we don't have enough time to get into that. On the reverse side, what you end up having is you don't connect with your best resource, and your best resource is the father of the child, because the father of the child is 10 times more concerned about that child than you are. And if you tell me that she needs to eat grapes 4 times a day, let me tell you something, in the nicest way possible, I'll get her to eat grapes. I'll get chocolate covered grapes. I'll get mushed up grapes.
Yes.
Because what you're saying to me is that the purpose for your life, the purpose that you are now here on earth is inside of her. And I need you to do your diligence to make sure that child comes out healthy. And if it's to get her, if you are a doula and you believe that mothers want to go to all of their visits, you need to double check, because I'm mostly the person that makes sure she gets to all the visits because I'm so concerned about my child's my new baby, my new son, my new daughter. I'm the one that gets her the prenatal vitamin, and I listen more. If you let me into the doctor's appointments, I listen more. The reason why I'm better at listening in the doctor's appointment is because I don't worry about the fluid that's inside of me, and I'm not worried about, and I don't have the hormonal changes that she has, and I don't have an issue because I don't have someone kicking me inside of me, so I can listen and
Yes.
hear better. So I will go back to her more informed and say, we should do this and we should do that. I will come back to her and say, let's go for a walk instead of ride to the store, because I'm listening, because I'm not a better listener. I'm listening because the purpose of my life is inside of her. And also I want her to be healthy and I want my child to be healthy. So I'm taking notes, and I'm also, as your partner, I'm a snitch. If you tell the doctor you haven't had any ice cream, I'm gonna tell the doctor, yeah, I mean, does Oreo cookie count? Because that's actually ice cream. I mean, cherry vanilla is not a fruit. I'll let the doctor know that that's not part of that your
Yeah.
fruit regimen. And trust me, we'll look at doctors and be like, no, 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 that tasty cakes are not part of your diet plan. So
What
bring
about
us.
them chicken wings? And what about a little Danny Wok fried chicken wings and rice on it? No, okay. All right.
But you can have some apple slices with it, but you getting the whole mashed potatoes and gravy. Like, you, there's too much. Too much.
I am so in love with this conversation because one of the things you said to me, Joel, that I appreciated and it definitely resonates. I know Musa and I talked about it, is we also have to talk Black paternal health because there are far too many systems set up to divide our families. And one of the
Yes.
things that you said and lifted up was that we need to make sure we keep the dads in the conversation so our
Mhm.
families represent what is really happening in our community. Our families are not divided unintentionally all the time. We aren't the statistics or the narrative that the media shows. There's too many systems that encourage us to divide. So this has to be a space where we are inclusive. And that's the language
Mhm.
that you use, Joel, in talking
Mhm.
about being inclusive of our Black fathers.
Then
So
also, we have to be inclusive because no matter what, the child, the infant, the toddler has half of Moose's DNA and half of
Mhm.
your DNA. And if you don't find out that my side of the family has diabetes early, if you're not looking at my DNA, I'm telling you, we could have avoided, because we have a year in maternal health. We could have avoided some of these things that happen in 6 months and happen in 7th month. So you have to talk to each other. And the other thing is I'm a postpartum doula, so I'm still in the hospital right before a lot of times. And I got to tell you, I love my doctors. I love my nurses. I love my healthcare workers. But there usually is only one person like Musa who knows you and is out for you the most. There's only one person in that place that's not getting a paycheck, and that's your partner. So understand you're going to have to trust this person with everything, and they need to be very informed. So they can tell doctors when no, and they can tell doctors, yes, this is what she wants, and this is not what she wants. And I swear to God, don't make me get up, because I already told you once.
Yes.
She said natural, so we going natural, and stop asking me, because she already told me, even though she's asleep right now.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, before we wrap up and I get final words from you, Joel, any final questions that you have, Musa? Final question or that you have, or a statement?
No. I just feel blessed that this resource is available and that I can refer dads to this resource. I'll give one brief example where I had a young dad that was actually in premarital counseling with myself and Lexi, and his son had just been born. And I asked him, I said, "How are you doing?" He said, "Well, I'm not doing too good." I said, "What's wrong?" He said, "Well, I have this life in front of me, and he might cry and I don't know what his needs are. I just go through the different things. Is he wet? Is he cold? Is he hungry? All these different things." But he's like, "It hurts me." And I said, "Well, you're going to keep on going through your routine, but you're going to be able to know the difference between the different types of cries as time goes on." But so I talked to him, days, a few days after that, just check up on him, and things were going well. But without me calling, he probably would have been stuck in that. But and it just happened. He just got lucky that I just happened to call to check in on him. But men having and understanding that there are resources like yours is so important. So I'm gonna scream it to the rooftops, that there is a resource for us, from us,
New Doulo,
by us, for us.
I hear a new Doulo advocate, fraternal order of Daddy University in
Hey,
the
listen,
Alexa,
it happened.
we still hiring. We still hiring.
Listen,
I ain't gonna say
Delta
no
Alpha
name.
Delta.
I am with it, and absolutely. So, one final piece that before you share how people can keep in touch with you and everything. One question that we always ask our moms, and I think people have heard it through here, Joel, but I just want you to be able to share. We always ask our attendees, our guests, what is your Coco dad, mom, king, queen, depending on what they represent, superpower? So I'm going to ask you, and your superpower would be, so you see how mine is Coco Mom Evolve, because I really believe my superpower is helping people to recognize their best selves, to evolve to their best selves, to really capitalize on the gifts and talents God has given them, and move forward in purpose. So what would you say is your Coco dad superpower?
Oh, it's compassion. I've been there. I'm the president, and I'm also a client. So it's compassion.
I sound a little something like, I'm not only a client, I'm the president.
I'm the paternal president.
Listen,
Paternal president.
I'm drinking it too.
Oh Lord, don't talk about the Kool-Aid. Oh,
I'm the
yes,
Kool-Aid.
we are. I've been there. Done. Yes, I'm with you. I'm not above you. I am right there with you.
oh gosh, I
Compassion.
absolutely love it. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Joel, please tell people where they can find you and how they can keep in touch with you with what Daddy University is doing.
So we are Daddy University on Facebook. I am Joel Austin on Facebook. Also Daddy UNIV on Instagram. And then contact us, refer people, www.daddyuniv.com. All the
Yeah.
information even on the website, we have ages and stages to help you through what should a first grader do, what should second year do, what does third year to help process.
Wow, you heard it here, y'all. Coco superpower is compassion. That is right in line with what we do over here at CocoLife.Black. We are cultivating a community, so make sure you find us everywhere Coco Life lives. And in true Coco Life fashion, we want to make sure that we lift up and share with you a little more about what we do. So before we go out for the day, please take a quick look at our commercial that we filmed last year during International Coco Mom Day. And now we know we're going to have to do another one for our Coco Dad so that we can have that piece too. Hold and enjoy.
Welcome to Coco Life.Black, where we excitedly cultivate gifts, services, and spaces for Black and brown moms globally.
Coco Life.Black is an online retail and resource site to support 3 maternal stages of pregnancy, postpartum, and compassion for the loss of a child.
Here at CocoLife.Black, we promote a Coco community for our fathers, children, aunties, uncles, grandparents, pastors, and more. We honor the nurturing space you hold as you are the mother's village.
Coco Life.Black was started out of the need to increase access to Black-owned maternity sites. Our mission is to help reduce race-related disparities in maternal health while offering grief support for moms who have experienced the loss of a baby or a loved one.
Along your journey, let us support you by giving access to doulas, mental health professionals, and education around wellness, birth, and more. We show our commitment to mothers and women by providing gifts, guidance, and compassion throughout each maternal stage. Join us as we support moms, bump and beyond.
So doulas and doulos, these are our resources. Joel is amazing. Daddy University is amazing. We got a chance to meet a couple of the doulos. There's a fraternity coming and establish. You want to make sure you get connected, whether you are in Philadelphia area or not. This is an amazing blessing to our community, and we need more like it. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Make sure you go and follow Daddy University in all the places that we talked about. Make sure you keep circling around with CocoLife.Black and share this if you know some amazing men who did not get a chance to catch it. Thanks so much for tuning in with us. Peace out.
Thank you.